Picornaviruses. Picornaviruses belong to the family of Picornaviridae. There are two major groups of the human pathogens in picornaviruses. These are the enteroviruses and the rhinoviruses. Enteroviruses are transmitted by fecal-oral route, multiply in intestine, do not cause any intestinal manifestations, and they are associated with various systemic manifestations like poliomyelitis. It is a very common. Enteroviruses comprises of 96 human serotypes. These are inclusive of polioviruses. There are having 3 serotypes: Coxsackie viruses, Coxsackie A and Coxsackie B, echoviruses, para-echoviruses, enteroviruses, and 34 newly identified enteroviruses. And another one is the rhinoviruses. They are transmitted by respiratory route and causes common cold. So in the morphology, they are very simple in structure, very tiny, 28 to 30 nanometer in size. They are non-enveloped, spherical shape and have icosahedral symmetry. Capsid is composed of 60 subunits, each consisting of 4 viral protein, that is VP1 to VP4. Exception is the para-echovirus that is having only 3 protein. They possess a single-stranded positive sense linear RNA. Enteroviruses are stable at acidic pH, whereas rhinoviruses are acid labile. Heat labile. All enteroviruses and some rhinoviruses are inactivated by heating at 55 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes, which is prevented by magnesium chloride. Enterovirus group includes the polioviruses. Antigenic types. There are 3 antigenic types of polioviruses. Immunity is type specific. Type 1 is named as a Brunhilde and Mahony strains. Type 2 is Lansing and MEF1 strain. And type 3 is Lyon and Socket strain. In type 1, Brunhilde and Mahony strain, most common serotype to cause epidemic and only serotype that is endemic currently in the world. So this is a type 1 that is at present causing the disease. Type 2, it is most antigenic serotype. No natural case of poliomyelitis caused by serotype 2 since 1999 and most common serotype found among the VDPV, it means vaccine-derived poliomyelitis. Type 3, it is a no natural case caused by serotype 3 has been reported since 2013. Most common serotype to cause vaccine-associated paralytic poliomyelitis. So now the antigens of these polioviruses, they are the 2 antigens C and D. D antigen, it is a dense antigen. C antigen is a capsid antigen. D antigen is associated with the whole virion and is a type specific. Anti-D antibodies are protective. Potency of injectable polio vaccine can be measured in terms of D antigen units. C antigen is not associated with the infectiousness. It is less specific and anti-C antibody are not protective. So these viruses generally transmitted by the fecal-oral route, that is most common, or rarely by respiratory droplets via inhalation or conjunctival contact. Multiply locally. Intestinal epithelial cells, submucosal lymphoid tissues of tonsils and Peyer's patches. These are the multiplying sites. And receptor. So CD155 is a receptor for entry of the virus into the host cell. What is the pathogenesis? So how they spread to the CNS spinal cord? The first is the hematogenous spread. Virus spreads to the regional lymph node, spills to bloodstream, and then multiplication into the reticuloendothelial system where it enters the bloodstream, again causing the secondary viremia. Carried to the spinal cord and brain. Neural spread following tonsillectomy where the virus may spread via glossopharyngeal nerve. This is a direct viral entry into the nerves. This is the nerve present in the tonsillar fossa. That's why it directly spread to neural. Site of action, motor nerve ending is the main site of the action. Anterior horn cells of the spinal cord that leads to muscle weakness and that leads to the flaccid paralysis. Neuron degeneration, this is the earliest gene in the neuron, that is degeneration of the nasal body that can be seen. And pathological changes are always more extensive than the distribution of the paralysis. So if you see the clinical manifestation, incubation period is generally 7 to 14 days. Manifestation may range from asymptomatic stage to the most severe paralytic stage. These are the presentation of the poliomyelitis. Inapparent infection, this is the most common in 91 to 96% cases. They are seen as asymptomatic cases. Abortive infection, minor illness manifested by the fever, malaise, sore throat, anorexia, myalgia, headache. Non-paralytic poliomyelitis like aseptic meningitis. So these are the different presentation. Paralytic poliomyelitis is generally seen in less than 1% of the cases. that is characterized by descending asymmetric acute flaccid paralysis. Proximal muscles are affected earlier than the distal muscles. Paralysis starts at hip that proceeds toward extremities that leads to the characteristic tripod side. That means the child sits with flexed hip, both arms are extended towards the back for the support. That is called as a tripod stand. Site of involvement that can be spinal, bulbospinal and bulbar. Biphasic course in children, aseptic meningitis occurs first, then recovery, then return of fever with paralytic features 1 to 2 days later. Cranial nerve involvement seen, but there is no sensory loss. So these are the deformities of the poliomyelitis. These are the risk factors: older children and adults, pregnant women, heavy muscular exercise, persons undergoing trauma at the time of CNS symptom. Tonsillectomy predisposes to the bulbar poliomyelitis. Intramuscular injections increases the risk of paralysis in the involved limb. This is one of the manifestations called as a post-polio muscle atrophy syndrome, a recrudescence of paralysis and muscle wasting. It is observed in the individual which occurred decades after the episode of a paralytic poliomyelitis, like 20 to 40 years later. So it is called as a post-polio muscle atrophy syndrome. So how we can go for the laboratory diagnosis in this case? So first, specimens that can be collected. So viruses can be found in the throat swabs up to 1 week of illness, in the rectal swabs, stool sample up to the 6 to 8 weeks. Long-term excretion are seen especially into the immunodeficient persons, and recovery from the CSF or blood is not there. It is very rare. Transport, the specimens should be kept frozen during transport to the laboratory. The primary monkey kidney cell, these are the main cell lines that can be used for the isolation of the virus. Virus growth can be identified in various methods. The first is a cytopathic effect, like crenation and degeneration of the entire cell sheet. Antigen detection, like neutralization with specific antiserum or immunofluorescence. PCR assay is available targeting BP1 region of poliovirus. Rising antibody titer in paired sera collected 1 to 2 weeks interval is recommended. Both neutralizing antibodies, neutralization test and complement fixing antibodies, complement fixation test can be detected. Only first infection with poliovirus produces strict type-specific responses. Subsequent infection induces the antibody against a group-specific antigen that is common to all the 3 serotypes. Molecular method that can be identified by the help of BP1 region. Using the primer of the BP1 region, detect and differentiate between various types of wild and vaccine polioviruses directly from the stool specimen. So vaccine is available for poliomyelitis. 2 types of vaccines are available, Salk and Sabin. Salk vaccine is an injectable vaccine, killed vaccine. Sabin is an oral, live attenuated vaccine. Salk is a formalin-killed preparation in monkey kidney cell line. Total 80 units of T antigen of a type 1 of 40 units, type 2 8 units and type 3 32 units. And in case of the oral vaccine, type 1 strain is having the 3 leg, type 2 is 1 leg and type 3 is a 3 leg. So for injectable vaccine, 4 doses are recommended. First 3 doses at a 1 to 2 months gap, and 4th booster dose after 6 to 12 months of the gap. And here total 5 doses are given, 0 dose given at a birth, then first, second, third at a 6, 10, 14 weeks of age, and booster is given at a 16 to 24 months. The Salk injectable vaccine is safer as compared to the oral vaccine. The efficacy is 80 to 90% by full course, but immune response is slower. Here 90 to 100% efficacy is achieved even by the 1 or 2 doses of OPV. And efficacy decreases by interference by other enteroviruses, diarrheal diseases, breastfeeding. Economy, the Salk injectable vaccine is relatively expensive, while Sabin vaccine is economical. Duration of protection is short, need booster doses periodically in injectable vaccine. Here in oral vaccine, it is a long lasting. Injectable vaccine cannot be given into the epidemics. Sabin oral vaccine can be given safely into epidemics. Herd immunity is not there in injectable vaccine. Local immunity is there in case of the oral vaccine. Local immunity is strong. That is IgA antibody is produced in case of the oral vaccine. The Salk injectable vaccine can prevent only the paralysis while oral vaccine prevents the infection too. Storage. So the injectable vaccine, Salk vaccine is relatively stable. It doesn't require the stringent condition. While in case of the Sabin oral preparation, it should be stored at -20, stabilized in magnesium chloride at a pH less than 7, means vaccine vial monitor is required for the oral vaccine. The vaccine-associated paralytic poliomyelitis and vaccine-derived paralytic poliomyelitis chances are 0 in case of the Salk injectable because it is an inactivated vaccine. Here in oral vaccine, it is more chance because it is live attenuated. So what is this VAPP? Vaccine-associated paralytic poliomyelitis. This denotes all the cases of paralytic poliomyelitis that occur following OPV administration. They are OPV-like isolate which show limited genetic divergence from their parental OPV strains. Ubiquitous in places where OPV is used extensively. It can occur among OPV recipient as well as to their close contact due to fecal-oral spread. Not capable of circulating into the community, they do not cause outbreak. They are largely limited to the high population immunity. Vaccine-associated paralytic poliomyelitis rate occurs approximately at a rate of 1 case per 2.5 million doses of OPV. Following the first dose of OPV, then the subsequent doses, and among the people with a primary immunodeficiency disorder, that increases the risk by 3,000 times. Most common serotype associated with the vaccine-associated paralytic poliomyelitis Sabin type 3, that followed by Sabin type 2. So this is about the vaccine-associated paralytic poliomyelitis. Now another one is vaccine-derived poliovirus, that is VDPV. This exhibit a higher level of genetic divergence from their parental OPV strains at VP1 sequence. They help in their prolonged replication and transmission. The genetic divergence of vaccine-derived poliomyelitis from parental OPV strain is about more than 1% for type 1 and 3 and more than 0.6% for Sabin type 2. Isolates showing genetic divergence lower than this cutoff are considered as OPV-like isolates. Vaccine-derived paralytic poliomyelitis isolates are indistinguishable from the wild polioviruses both clinically and phenotypically. Most VDPV isolates belong to Sabin type 2 followed by type 1. This is because wild type 2 strains are already eradicated in 1999. So these vaccine-derived polioviruses, VDPV categories, they are included mainly 3 categories: circulating, immunodeficiency associated, and ambiguous. Circulating, they are capable of person-to-person transmission in the community and can cause outbreaks in areas with a low OPV coverage. They pose the same threat to the community as that of wild polioviruses. Most circulating VDPV isolates have vaccine, non-vaccine recombinant genomes. The outbreaks have occurred due to this in many of the countries, including India. Nigeria was first affected, accounting for half of those strains. Immunodeficiency associated, they are isolated from the person with primary immunodeficiency disorder. They do not develop disease but excrete the IVDPVs for many years. Contacts infected with IVDPV strains are at an increased risk of developing paralytic poliomyelitis. They exhibit greater genetic diversity than CVDPV. Some strains may be diverse by more than 10%. So extent of sequence of divergence is proportional to the duration of the infection. So unlike CVDPV, infections due to IVDPV cannot be prevented by a high OPV coverage. And IVDPV strains show heterogeneity within a serotype leading to a mixed virus population. And third is the ambiguous. They are CVDPV for which only 1 case isolate and had yet been detected or may be sewage isolates obtained from the developed country with unknown source. So reservoir is the man. Clinical subclinical ratio is if there is a 1 case, then there are 1,000 children and 75 adults of subclinical cases. There are no chronic carriers. Stool and oropharyngeal secretions are the source of infection. Younger children and infants are more susceptible than adults. Period of communicability shared in feces from 7 to 10 days before the onset of symptoms up to 2 to 3 weeks thereafter, sometimes as long as 3 to 4 months. Polio eradication. Poliomyelitis is now at the verge of eradication, attributed to the extensive immunization program being conducted globally. So pulse polio immunization is now going on. It was in operation since 1995-96. 2 rounds of PPI, 6 weeks apart, are scheduled every year during the winter season, generally in January and March. And these are the extra doses, and they do not replace the OPV doses received under the routine national immunization schedule. And they are also include the AFP surveillance. These are the countries at present. Only the PAN countries, Pakistan, Afghanistan and Nigeria, they are the endemic for polio. Otherwise, India is still considered as a polio free since 2013. This is the Endgame Strategic Plan that is initiated in GPEI. Global Polio Eradication Initiative has initiated an Endgame Strategic Plan for polio eradication. So, interruption of the polio virus transmission, that is the first strategy. Strengthening immunization system by stepwise withdrawal of OPV along with switching over to the IPV. Implementing containment of polio viruses and certify the world as a polio free by the end of 2018. And legacy planning, the infrastructure, fund, manpower, knowledge, experience that have been created through the global polio program will be utilized to support other health programs following post-polio eradication. Though eradication may not be achieved within the target time, but it is expected that world is soon going to achieve this milestone in coming days. So another group is the Coxsackie viruses. They are named after the place of discovery, means Coxsackie village in the USA, divided into 2 groups, A and B. Coxsackie viruses group A are type into serotypes 1 to 24 and group B are type into serotypes 1 to 6. What is the difference? Group A viruses produces flaccid paralysis and generalized myositis in suckling mouse, while group B, they produce spastic paralysis and focal myositis and necrosis of brown fat into the suckling mouse intracerebral inoculation. These are the diseases that are caused by Coxsackie viruses. Group A Coxsackie viruses, they are responsible for aseptic meningitis, herpesingina, hand, foot and mouth disease, acute hemorrhagic conjunctivitis caused by Coxsackie A24 and enterovirus 70. Hand, foot and mouth disease is caused by enterovirus 71. Group B Coxsackie viruses are associated with the aseptic meningitis, that is B1 to 6, pleurodymia, myocarditis, pericarditis, hepatitis, pancreatitis associated with the Coxsackie B4, pneumonia and generalized disease of infants. So how we can go for lab diagnosis? To throat swab, stool, CSF are the specimens that can be collected. Intracerebral inoculation to the suckling mice, inoculating to tissue culture, they produce a cytopenic effect within 5 to 14 days. PCR targeting genes are VP1. Serology is performed to detect neutralizing antibody. These are the other enteroviruses. Enterovirus 68 causes pneumonia. Enterovirus 70 causes acute hemorrhagic conjunctivitis. Enterovirus 71 causes aseptic meningitis, encephalitis, hand, foot and mouth disease, herpesingina. Enterovirus 72 is classified as hepatitis A. Then comes the ecoviruses. Ecoviruses infect the human intestine and they can be isolated in certain tissue cultures. Enteric cytopathogenic human orphan viruses, because previously it was not included in any of the category, that's why it was called as the orphan viruses. They can cause outbreaks in the summer, especially among the children. Rhinoviruses group. Rhinoviruses are the most common cause of common cold. Human rhinoviruses comprises of 3 species, A, B and C, and more than 150 antigen types are seen. They are the most common cause of the common cold. Rhinoviral symptoms are similar to that of any other viruses causing common cold syndrome such as coronavirus, adenovirus, enterovirus, parainfluenza, influenza viruses. So this was all about the picornaviruses that was included the enteroviruses, polioviruses, Coxsackie viruses and rhinoviruses.